personally, to me, you have no right to ask me about my relationships, to question my decision to marry or not marry, or just my personal. It's called personal for a reason.
See, for
Because
you, why is it important mostly to celebrate and support women, especially in this our industry? And it's a global conversation, but I want to hear your view regarding supporting women.
so you noticed, I'm always throwing my support in for women. For me, I think it's a no-brainer. Come on, it's like asking why support your children or your siblings or other races or whatnot. I don't like oppression. I don't like suppression. I do not like. I think patriarchy has started to show us that it's failing. I mean, look at the world now. Everyone's complaining. I just think it's just the human decent thing to do to support women, because how can you not respect women when the concept of pregnancy and giving birth, gestation, carrying a baby inside them for 9 months, and then birthing that child, breastfeeding that child, caring for that child, and when you grow up and you become an adult and you kind of think of how the women are not getting their flowers enough, and how there are a lot of men, our gender, who feel superior to women for the barest minimum, and you're like, but when it comes to these like social responsibilities, women have consistently been pushing that responsibility. In other words, women are doing more, have been doing more socially than men. And I don't know who's responsible for that. Maybe blame patriarchy. I mean, right from when we were in secondary school, you would hear them say, from social studies, a man should bring money for the household and pay the school fees and, rent the house, just defining gender roles. And then women will stay at home, take care of the children. I mean, how many years ago were women now able to vote? How many years ago did this whole gender role thing now start being questioned? I mean, look at gender roles now, right? Yeah, look at gender roles now. How many women are the ones funding men, building houses, paying rent, And now men have started to understand the pressure and the weight of caring for children. I don't know if you saw one video of one Nigerian man who says he woke up one day and he said he no one marry again. He now said, take care of the children, I'll give you money, you take care of the children. The woman said, okay, in a civilized country, I think in the UK also, I'm not so sure. And then he woke up, and then the woman carried all the children's passport and came back to Nigeria. This guy had the audacity to set his camera and his phone and say, how can she leave me alone? What is she doing? She's leaving me with the kids abandoned. So you wanted to abandon. It's the double standards for me. Like, he said, do you know how I've been suffering taking care of these children? I'm like, oh, so you now see her relevance. You see what she's been doing. Now you can appreciate. He just sounded so ridiculous. I mean, Google the story, you would see it. And that's
Do you also believe in the 50-50 conversation that's going on now? Because there's a lot of conversations regarding roles, and I'm happy you went into that direction and you went into that trajectory, which is very important. Some people, especially the feminine gender, will say, I don't believe in the 50 role. He's supposed to be 100% supporting and he should be providing. So what's your take? Is it like 100% on one side, or should it be balanced?
is of patriarchy. When you define certain gender roles, I mean, how you raise a child is how the child's going to respond to you. So if women have come up with this narrative, or if women are supporting this narrative, because I don't think they came up with a narrative, I think it's men. I don't believe in a one-sided relationship. I believe in everybody bringing what they can bring to the table. It's not about, oh, what do you bring? I mean, what are your capacities? Don't lie, don't fake it, don't force anything. If you're capable of doing whatever it is, I mean, in love, I, I don't know, how do people vision love or envision love? Like, in love, you really don't start to nitpick and say, you do this and I do this, you do this. When you can do something and you love someone, you do not even need them to tell you to do it. So, off the top of my head, if you're in a relationship where both human beings can provide, you will provide without even thinking of who is bringing 10%, 20, 50, 40. It's just about provision, filling each other's cups, which is why when you go to the altar, you take vows. People don't take their vows seriously. They just, yeah, because if vows were being sworn in a shrine, I'm sure people will honor their vows more. For better, for worse, richer, for poorer, sickness, and in health. That's what is supposed to be, supporting each other. So I would say there's no rules. Whatever you can do, do it without expecting too much from the other person. And then you, that they're not expecting too much of, you know, don't go in there with the barest minimum and feel like you're the king or the queen. Love is sacrifice. Love is empathy. Love is caring, and all of that. So
For you being a public figure, do you think sometimes fans have a right to dictate and know what's going on with your relationship? You understand? You'll be a public figure, and most of the time they're poking, they want to know, which is something that has been running for ages. Do you think they have a right to demand? Do you think they have a right to say this is who you should be dating? Do you think they have a right to say when you should be dating and when you should get married?
it all goes back to what I said at first. Define your own brand, your own self. Like, what are you comfortable with? Now, if you ask me personally, nobody has the right to, like, poke their noses in my personal relationship. Like, why? There's Uti and there's Uti Nwachukwu, all right? So I determine and dictate what you would see with Sir Uti. Do you understand? Sir Uti is the brand, is the personality, but Uti Nwachukwu is the regular, normal human being. And that's not who I'm selling as a brand. Do you understand? So you, personally to me, you have no right to ask me about my relationships, to question my decision to marry or not marry, or just my personal, it's called personal for a reason. Because the way I view it is like getting angry that I'm not putting a camera in my bathroom. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or getting angry that I'm not showing you in my most vulnerable moments. Maybe when I'm in my boxers, legs spread and eating a bar and the ogbono soup on the floor. No, that's my personal moment. So relationships for me are supposed to be sacred. I don't believe in televising every part of your life. If you're making money from it, that's okay. In that case, you don't get to complain tomorrow and come out and say, I need respect to my privacy. It doesn't make sense. You can't televise every part of your life and then tomorrow come out and say, respect my privacy. No, the same way you were sharing all the other parts of your life, they have a right to now ask for more.
Finally, what would you say is the most controversial, allegation or speculation that you found in the press that really got to you?
I've never really thought about that. Got to me. I guess I've grown to a level where you should understand the industry that you have decided to involve yourself in or with. If it gets to you, then you're not in the right industry. If it does get to you, you're not in the right industry. And will there be things that will make you uncomfortable? Yes. But you have to grow to, not really. So to recall, and that's the beauty about growth. I'm in my 40s now. If I sit down and start thinking about whatever was said about me that made me upset, I don't know, that's a bit regressive. I can't really I think I've just grown to that point where there's certain things you expect, like opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So I'm not going to go about trying to sniff everybody. So it's normal for me. It comes with it. It's like a politician saying, "I will not be criticized." There will be no false allegations against me. It's an occupational hazard, and that's what, like I said, growth does to you. I can't got to me. Anything. Like, people have talked about my character. People, like a lot of people, before they meet me, and this always happens. They will say, "Oh my God, you're actually a nicer human being in real life." I'm like, so what do I project? Like this jerk? And it's like, oh, and the movie roles you take, they don't really help you. I'm like, well, then that's on you. Because if you're going to judge someone from the kind of movie roles they take, that says more about you. So it's acting. But I get it. Sometimes you might have an RBF. You know what an RBF is? Resting beach face. So a lot of people see you. And for me, that's just my boundaries. Like, you know how people like to disrespect boundaries a lot, especially when you're a public figure. So initially, when I come into a space, I won't mind my business. I would sit and I'll be like, so, I'm proud. And I've not done anything. So before then, before you heal, when you're in your oh, I hope I'm not offending anybody. I hope they like me. That phase, your mid 20s to late 20s phase, But when you outgrow that, you're like, everybody has a right to have whatever opinion. I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm not here to prove anybody wrong. Who am I proving anything to? So I guess I've grown to that level of just not caring. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.